We're going to start with Giannis Antetokounmpo. Following that overtime loss to the Heat on Wednesday night, Giannis answered a question during his post-game press conference. He was asked, do you believe the Milwaukee Bucks, if their season was a failure? Now, despite a winning record during the regular season, the Bucks, who earned a number 1 seed, actually lost to a number 8 seed because, sports, and they lost the first round series. So take a listen to that interview.
Exact same question, but I'm curious for you. Do you view this season as a failure?
Oh my God. Okay, because I'm not that up. You asked me the same question last year, Eric. Okay. Do you get the promotion every year on your job? No, right? So every year you work is a failure. Yes or no? No. Every year you work towards something, towards a goal, right? Which is to get a promotion, to be able to take care of your family, to be able, provide the house for them or take care of your parents. You work towards a goal. It's not a failure. It's steps to success, And if you've never, I don't want to make it personal. So there's always steps to it, Michael Jordan played 15 years. Won 6 championships. The other 9 years was a failure.
So it was really cool to have the curtain pulled back on Giannis. And you can tell he was kind of prepared for that answer. And I know that has a lot to do with the fact that he said the reporter asked him the exact same question the season before. Now, I know these guys and these girls have a public image as athletes. So we are going to get certain, access to them that we may or may not love. They, of course, may or may not love, but they have a unique and lucrative job. I totally understand. But, I cover baseball for a living, and failure is the most important lesson you have to learn, because if you're hitting 1 out of 3 times, you're considered, batting you're one of the better batters in the league because you're batting 300. I think Tony Kemp once told me, he said, we're playing this game of failure at the most professional level. And that's ridiculous, right? You think about failure as my life is over. Things aren't working my way. So when you're coming at an athlete who has certainly failed over amount of times and coming out of that, that's got to be interesting to not only be prepared for that answer, but knowing what's coming up. On the flip side, however, the reporter had a job to do. I can tell you, I've asked many stupid questions before, but the thing about it is those stupid questions oftentimes turn into a really beautiful answer, an insightful answer, just like this one. I'm not saying the question was dumb necessarily. I'm not saying it was stupid, because it's all about how you interpret these questions. I can tell you a lot of people who've never worked in the industry have told me my questions are dumb, and that's fine. I understand. And I'm also not saying Giannis being mean in this scenario is actually true, because it's impossible to turn this man into a mean person. I know that because I wrote an article for Awful Announcing, and comedian Hassan Minaj tried to make Giannis into a mean person, and it was impossible. But I like that he showed his spirit. He's filled with emotions after a loss. You're always filled with emotions. We know how Giannis acts when he wins the game, but it's also important to see how these guys are after they lose. And it's a loss that was difficult. So as much as we are unsure about how this question was framed, the answer wouldn't have existed if this question wasn't asked. I'm also sticking up for myself because your girl has asked her fair share of stupid questions recently with Shohei Ohtani. We're not going to go there, though. We don't like to live in the past. So it makes you think.